So, sorry, it takes a second to boot up from the last tour. So can everybody see me in that picture? I should be orange, red, and yellow. Everything behind me is blue and black. Now, it's going to go based off of whatever's inside the screen. So it's going to fluctuate. So if I take me out of the picture, now we have some red, orange, and yellow in the tree above me because it's going to fluctuate. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, so what are we looking for on this guy? We are actually looking for those blue or black spots to actually move. Those are the coldest areas in the picture. So if they start to move on their own, it's going to create like a little white circle around it and think of it as an object. It does not see in 3D. It does not see through glass. Glass is an object. It's not going to look at it that way. So this person, I'm going to go with you. You've been quiet all night. So I usually go with my heckler because it also records audio. So now, you see the red square on your screen? It should be on your left. That means it's recording. If it turns into a circle, tap it again and let me know. That way I have to splice 2 videos or more, hopefully not. Okay. And you'll be the jerk of the group because then it takes it longer for me to get you the data back. So
where's the lens?
The lens is right where your hand is. It's that attachment on the cell phone, so it's literally right here at the bottom. At the bottom of that. So you're gonna hold it horizontal so that way we have a nice picture to watch the whole time. Try not to do flippy doos. And guys, also too, the first location we go to besides here is kind of your practice area. It's haunted, but it doesn't have a long history. So it gives me an opportunity to really bounce around with each one of you individually, give you different tactics, you know, go a little bit further into what you're doing. I want you to also keep in mind, I'm recording this entire thing via audio. 2 reasons. First off, you'll hear my lovely screaming voice yet again tomorrow, or whenever you want to listen to it, for all the stories of all the weird places we're going to go to. Second is for EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon. Those are voices we cannot hear with the naked ear. So again, if you hear something, I don't always review that because I give you audio markers of what's actually happening with the things that I'm going to be using. So I don't have to review it, I caught it in real time. So, does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Alright. So I want to get my skeptic taken care of. We're going to make a believer out of him. That's for sure. So we use spirit boxes. We're going to have several of them running throughout the night. Spirit boxes I usually put 2 people on. So I'm going to have the 2 of you listening to a spirit box. What is a spirit box? It's going to sweep through FM radio stations. Your TV shows and all your YouTube videos have that flipping through it very, very quickly. So that way it's all static and it's really, really annoying. It only comes through with disembodied voices. I have this one slowed down so we actually get radio chatter. I want you guys to listen to the DJs and the song lyrics and the commercials and tell me what you hear. Now, if they don't hear anything, it's okay. It's going to record the entire session that's going on. It's not going to record any of us or outside noise, only the radio sweep, even when it's on mute. So the cool thing is that we can listen to this whole thing tomorrow morning and not have any interruption. I'll give you a few markers of things that I find, but you guys in real time are going to tell us what you hear. So you're going to listen to it together so that way you can verify each other. That's why I put 2 people on a spirit box. There's only one button. It's a turnstile wheel. So you control the volume on this one, which is really nice as well. So it's recording already. The only button you need to worry about is that turnstile. Is that fair? Alright. Find the other one. How did we go? Harriet? Oh my goodness. I lost it. There it is. Alright. So we're going to stick with spirit boxes. This one has been acting up a little bit. I'm going to give it to the 2 of you. It's been acting up because it doesn't want to give me the full volume that I like to have on here. Okay. So it's actually pretty low. It's either super loud or super low. There's no volume control, and it doesn't record. So literally, there's a button on the back of the speaker to shut it off. You won't need to. It's super low. So if you actually put that speaker up to your ear, you actually be able to hear it. You guys can kind of toggle back and forth. We're going to be much quieter here. You guys should both be able to listen in distinct forms. Is that okay? Alright, so you suppose. Where's my responsible one? Yeah, I need somebody super responsible.
Okay.
I wasn't able to make that determination because I didn't get the full spectrum of our pre-meeting. I'm putting together the neuralizer for Men in Black. I'm gonna need you all to stare right there at the top. What's the neuralizer from Men in Black? You remember?
It's the one that lights your mind.
Yeah, so you guys aren't gonna remember anything. That's why I record it all. It's a grid pen, which means it's lasers, which could get Nick arrested. So if it's pointed in the wrong direction, Nick's going to jail. So what does this guy actually do for us? We can't see the lasers between the pen and the ground because we're all staring at the green dots. But if something passes by it, we're going to be able to see something go through it. So, number one for you. This one gives us red squares. Why do I want red squares? If we catch something in between this, I can then take that picture or video and put it in 3D software and you'll have a full 3D view of what we caught. How cool is that, right? I haven't caught anything with this one yet. I've only had it for a few months. So, that one's gonna go off to you.
Yay!
Yay, look at you, lasers. Good stuff. Lasers are used straight down, 5 feet in front of you on the ground only. We'll talk more about lasers throughout the night.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are all together, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So my last group took my other thermometer. Hopefully they bring it back. So this thermometer, we all should all know what this guy is, right? It's surface temperature. So surface temperature is going to help us debunk. I'm sorry, I'm losing names already. John sees in that video. If he says, hey Nick, there's a blue spot on that wall, I want to verify it. I don't want to make things up for you guys just for the sake of making things up. I'm not a TV show. I'm not Zach Bagans. I'm not going to make stuff up. The demon's not within me tonight, guys. Sorry. So I'm going to verify the wall with the red dot all the way across and make sure that it's actually a full, same temperature all the way across. I normally, the one they took, has an ambient thermometer probe at the end, so it'll measure the air around it. And then I know that the blue spot is between John and the wall. Hopefully they're going to text me very quickly and meet me along the way. But you're going to help him verify some of those temperatures.
Can you give it to that woman?
You're going to help him out. Do you not want anything?
No, I don't.
All right, so let's get the lasers in the same hands then. She said responsible. You're just here for the ride?
Yeah, I'm just.
Fair enough.
He's not responsible.
He's not responsible.
Special
All right.
lasers.
Last but not least, we're going to need some pictures. And I'm glad there's no teenagers on the tour because they don't know what the hell this is. Perfect. So, nobody along the wall can be in the pictures. None of you signed waivers. I don't think legal. We're not going that route. If somebody shows up in a picture that actually has evidence in it, I crop them out. So, it does not have a flash on it either. So you should know as a photographer you need to hold very still.
Yes.
Without a flash, I don't have anything that I have to debunk. If she takes a picture of a building and I now have a bunch of dots in the windows, I got to figure out what the heck's going on. My wife does all of the graphic design and photography work for Stories in the Cemetery, and if I find something, it goes to her to be debunked. So if she can't figure it out, we obviously have something, I give it back to you in your data. So, I'm trying to think, did I get everybody covered? Spirit boxes, lasers, thermometers. I'm going to use a few things myself, and I'm going to show you what they are. Man, them fans are driving me crazy. They're so loud. I'm not a loud person. Alright, I'm going to use a few things on my phone. Oh, hang on, she's texting me back. She's bringing it back, yay. Oh, let's not become a ghost. I find them, I don't make them. Alright. So, oh, I know what I forgot. I knew there was something I was missing.
Here you go, sir. Didn't mean to steal it.
Oh my god, thank you. You know what's funny? I did the exact same thing last night.
Did you?
Same tool.
Yeah, because I had the laser in that, and then I just handed you that. Have a good evening, everybody. Sorry about
I
that.
appreciate it. No, you're good. Alright, here's the ambient temperature one. That goes to you as well. So that one helps us find the cold spot in between John and Paul. Alright. Who does not have anything? So I'm going to give this to them because theirs is kind of light. So EMF meters, they don't explain these guys on the TV shows, so I'm going to give you the gist of what actually happens with this. It measures 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. The first one is natural. That's why it's green. It doesn't mean anything. It comes from the earth. The second one is going to come from electronic devices like cell phones and wiring and buildings. That's going to make it go into a pulse. We don't want that either. We want the erraticism. It should light up like a Christmas tree, and you can't make anything out of it. It just looks crazy. That's when we know something's probably going off with another device at the same time. So I'm going to hand that off to you guys just so that that's going to be a one-person thing. All right. That was awesome of him to bring that back. Not that that's an expensive item, but it sucks when I don't have it. All right, so the first spirit box I'm going to use actually gives us words right there in the center of the screen, and then it's going to save them to a list. So right there in the center, it's going to give us random words from time to time, and then again, there's the list. The last tour, they had 70 words. That's a little high for a 90-minute tour. I'm going to clear them out since I've already emailed it to myself so I can give it to them. 80% of those words don't mean a damn thing. BS. It's meant to be a game or a hoax. However, I do find between 10 to 20% of those words are relevant to the location and the history that we're going, or something that's happening with us here on the tour. You'll see as we move along. I'll try to make sense of it as we keep moving, but you're going to get the entire list back. I don't say here's just the words that made sense, because something might make sense to you. For example, somebody emailed me last week and said, my cat's name is Radar. Had the word catch and radar show up right next to each other. Something relevant to that person. Does that make sense? I don't know if that cat passed on and could spell, but it was relevant to them. I also use a reverse spirit box. So a reverse spirit box, I debunked this one already as well. It is literally a man and a woman saying words, and then they flip the audio backwards. I have no idea how long the loop is. I tested it for over an hour, and it still hadn't done a loop yet. So, if something comes through forward with a relevant answer to a question that I asked, we obviously have something going on. Later on, when it's not so noisy, I'll play an EVP that was really strong that came out of it, but I want you all to get a gist of what this actually sounds like, because it's going to come up on your audio. When I hear something, I say what I heard and say rewind by 5 seconds for you all to verify. So it's a little creepy. It's all backwards. Good stuff. A little weird, right? Do you want to hold my phone all night with that? I didn't think so. So again, that's what you're going to hear on your audio. Later on, when it's not so crazy and noisy, I'll play something that was pretty cool that came up a few weeks ago. All right, you guys ready to hear some ghost stories? Man, they're getting off real close tonight. So, where you're standing is haunted. That's why we started here, of course. This place used to be called Big John's. Let's go ahead and cut the spirit boxes for a second, just so I'm not screaming over more stuff. So, Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. I'm not a football guy, I'm not a sports guy, so I had to memorize this stuff just so we had relevant stuff for the story. Big John used to sit in the back of the bar, and he used to nod off to the bartender if the cadets were of age or not. He used to come over from the Citadel. Sorry, does anybody live here? No locals? I'm not gonna lie to you guys all night. Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, 2 guys come in one night. They're not of age. Big John tells the bartender, cut them off. They get pissed. They leave. They come back the next night and try to steal the register. They get in a big fight with Big John. He pulls out his gun, and then it becomes a tussle, and a couple of shots are fired. The bullet hole from that fight is still in the bar. There's no deaths or anything that's attached to it. It's the paranormal activity of the heightened activity that actually happened there. So it is said that people that sit in the front of this bar get a little dizzy, queasy, lightheaded, headaches, those kind of things. I bring this up on purpose. I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. Anybody's feeling the slightest headache, I need to know. It's a big deal. I don't say this to scare you, because it's not truly a scary tour. If it deals with the paranormal, that scares you, that's up to you. But, first time somebody dropped on me, I was in CPR class the next day. And it was a nice cool night like this. It was in January last year. So, it does happen, unfortunately. Alright, let's move on to something happier. So there was a big earthquake. 1868. Right? That's happier than us getting sick. These people are already dead. The mantle above your head actually wraps around the front of the building too. There's a piece of that mantling that broke off from the earthquake and killed somebody, struck him in the head. His ghost is said to be seen right here on East Bay Street. I don't have that valid proof, but that came from the bartender, or the owner of this bar that was just here. He moved down to Florida during COVID. So he used to tell me all kinds of stories about bottles rattling after he was talking to Big John and all kinds of stuff. But then he told me about the shadows out here. And I'm like, is that from the earthquake? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't even know that story. I just see shadows out there all the time after closing. So, you guys ready to go learn more and I can stop screaming? Yeah. All right, we're gonna head up this way. Group of 5 here?
Yeah. Us.
Because the number 5 just came.
Oh,
no, this is definitely bigger than
No,
5.
I meant like a party of 5. Sorry. All right, so a couple things here, guys. There's a restaurant over there called the Crew Cafe. It is allegedly haunted by a suicide. However, keep in mind that used to be a slave home. Slave homes don't have addresses. It's really hard for me to find titles and deeds to get the history of that place. They've asked me to do an investigation. I was supposed to have done it already over summertime. Thanks COVID for screwing up everything this year. So I don't even know if I'm going to make it because I can't find nothing on that. I can't even verify that there was a suicide out of that story. In the history book, what's past that cafe, there's a picture of the Peninsula Charleston, a little skinny picture back in the river. And at wartime, something right now wasn't there. Skip rolls up, water behind us, and then when you come over the top, and that's the tragedy for paranormal activity of any kind. Just a little 15 nugget I found and threw it on the board so they got kind of used everything. Kept it. So that's the basic reason. Awesome. Keep an eye on it. Wrap up where we're at, and then we'll talk about what to do with that kind of information. So, where are we now? This is what I call the Red Barn Lot. This is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. The horses are still inside that building. Anybody with a laser, keep it off the building. Okay? So we're going to go through each device, and with each location we go to, it'll be kind of a specific direction, a little bit shorter as we move along, as you'll see. But let's talk about spirit boxes real quick. So those of you with spirit boxes, this is not a like your TV shows where they jump right into it and say, hey, why'd you kill so-and-so? And they start provoking. And we're not going to do that. We're going to get you guys used to listening to those spirit boxes. So you're going to ask things that you already know in this one. For example, we already know that the barn is red. So what color is the barn is a relevant question. We're going to stay away from yes and no questions because the S and O are too commonly mistaken for other things. So in the event you ask the question, what color is the barn, and then you don't get an answer after about 30 seconds, ask again. Maybe rephrase it. You're going to do that 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times total. If we have EMF activity, we're obviously got something going on. What did you hear?
I don't know.
So the voice does not matter. It's the message. You gotta remember, those things are used like, did you guys think of Transformers? Okay, think of it as Bumblebee from Transformers. Okay. He used different voices to give you what he needed to say. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter to me if it's a man or a woman. Especially in this lot because this place is completely random. But again, back to how you're going to be questioned. You're going to, if you get the answer, what is inside the barn? How do you know that it's going to reinforce something related to horses? Also keep in mind when you guys are asking a question, that answer can go anywhere. It can go to the audio on the camera, it can go to my audio, or the 4 spirit box. You'll see later on, I'm going to ask questions that I didn't tell you about, and you're going to turn around and say, what color is he? Yes, that was his birthday. Things like that. And you have the verification that I asked the question, but you got the answer. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay, so it's not a random question. Stay away from yes or no's. Camera sweeps, we want nice slow sweeps all the way across. With the, who's got the thermometers? You do. So you're going to pal up with him and you're going to kind of verify some of the temperatures that he's reading. Now your gun is a laser, so we're going to keep it off the barn, obviously. Okay. But it's going to be about 5 degrees off. They're not calibrated, so to speak. Lasers, who's got the picture? Oh. Who's got the camera? Okay, perfect. So With the lasers, you're literally going to be taking pictures through the lasers that we can't see. So in hopes that we actually capture something in the moment in case she misses something. So you have both lasers?
Yeah.
Awesome. So now I know who to yell at when it goes awry. So I'm going to literally be bouncing around with you guys one at a time to make sure we're all in sync of what's going on. But I am going to set the Spirit Box teams off. When you guys find a good hotspot with your EMF is when you need to stop, but you guys kind of need to stay away from each other so that way you're not interfering with each other's spirit boxes. So you two can go ahead, or you two teams can go ahead. I would say you're probably safe to go anywhere because it's not going to spook the horses, but if you guys, I'm sorry, yours doesn't go up. Keep your volume at an audible level to the two of you so we don't spook the ponies. But you guys are pretty much free to roam wherever the EMF takes you. And then I'm going to meet up with you guys to maybe talk about what we're finding with that EMF. I'm going to set the two of you off freely. So actually, you're probably going to join in with them, I'm guessing. So the three of you, and I'm going to work with you in a few minutes, but I want to make sure the laser's going to be intact. So I'm going to start with them. So yeah, we're going to stay within the lot. Within the lot. All right, so lasers. Go ahead and shine that green one.
We need to see a different temperature. Oh, I can't shine that one.
Bring your arm up a little bit. Comfortable. Give me this thing. Let me show you what's going on. All right. Literally. I mean, it's take it 5 feet out in front of you. Batteries are certain diameter. Just change them. This is not a twirly type like you want to keep rolling around because remember, we're not going to catch anything and her pictures are going to suck.
Yeah.
So these lasers were actually meant to be set up in a room. I think I'm going to go just a bit batteries. This looks like my last group of children. They're meant to be set up in a room with a camera and left alone.
Yeah.
So if something walks through, they catch it on video. Same thing with the red one. So you literally want to be as still as possible when you have those. You're going to see how bright this thing can actually get. That's why I say it's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The wife works at Best Buy, so I get batteries in bulk. I can burn them up as much as I want. I actually have this giant case at home that I just replenished this little box. She just keeps bringing me more and more. So, go ahead and shine your red one out. Let's get some pictures out so you can kind of get a gist. It's got a toggle switch. You don't have to hold it. That's what's nice about that. So, yeah, you literally want to try to get, like, see how her hand is here?
Yeah.
You want to try to get it through. Just put the good batteries in back in that area. Last group we actually had quite a bit of activity. We should be getting more of this. Ready for this one? Take yours off for a second. See the difference? Yep. That's why it's dangerous. I can probably shoot all the way to the market from here and we'd see it perfectly clear. So more through it. So if I have it out like this, you literally want to try to shoot right through. Sorry. Perfect. So again, if you hold that on, it's going to burn up. So the red one, on the other hand, keep it down as well, but it won't burn up as much as that one.
Okay.
I got a lot of battery. Sure you can imagine. It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
All right, temperatures. So what I usually tell people with the temperatures is that you want to try to keep a person in focus on the screen. It gives you a great point of reference because a person's temperature is usually going to be higher than anybody else's, than anything else around you. So your yellow device isn't as active. You can almost pocket it. That's probably how I keep losing it. So try to, but if you, like for example, go ahead and point your camera at the wall and then let's get a reading from the gun on the wall, just so you guys can see the differences. And try not to get the foliage. Try to get the actual brick wall so we can see it. There you go. So what's your temperature on there?
64.5.
And what do you have? You should have
68.
Okay, so you're about 4 or 5 degrees off. So depending on the decimal. So if you start to drop below what she actually gets, you probably obviously have something. Because if she's shooting that wall and you drop down to 60, you know that there's something going on there. And she still has a 64, but you're at 60, something's definitely going on. Because that's where that's going to land. So that's when you pull out the yellow one and you want to try to find where that cold pocket is. But with the camera, you're going to see throughout the night, it's going to vary. You have a lot of different materials in here. You have metal, asphalt, brick, obviously, foliage, the vehicles, people, but you're going to see how it fluctuates as you move around. So you guys are literally going to kind of do a lap around the lot, just so you can kind of get a gist of how it works. But again, nice and slow, because the camera technology is not our cell phones. It will stop and pixelate if you move too fast. It's okay when we go like in between our areas, but you know, just so you can keep up. But when we're actually looking through things, you want to go nice and slow. So I'm going to leave you guys to that and catch up with the spirit boxes, make sure they're on tact. What questions do you have? I'm sorry, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm rushing.
No, we're good.
Okay, good deal.
But I can't point it at
My back's starting to hurt. This thing's heavy.
68.
Yeah. Got on a 62 on the car. What do you got?
61.
Which one?
Right there.
Okay. 72 on mine. Nope.
No.
You're gonna give me lots to look at, huh? Nice and slow. Good. more minutes with those spirit boxes so they can get the gist of what to listen for, because they haven't heard anything yet. At least the one group hasn't. We'll kind of see what happens. Like, this is going to be an interesting night, I think.
I think that one with the trash can, yeah. What's the trash can? I got 65. We're right on the money.
Well, 68.7.
Yeah, 67.
65.
Oh, just when I see it.
Where? 63.5. 60, 69 for me. Yeah. We see a clown down there.
68.7 down there.
Ghost. 77 for me.
70.1 on that side.
So when it's too loud, like it's a place like this, you're just gonna cup it and then loosen up your hand just enough to where you can hear it. And then again, same button on the back of the speaker. That should be a little bit better. It's funny, like just a bit better. I got the button on the back of the speaker, so the speaker moves however you want. Alright, so I'm actually gonna gather everybody up. Kind of meet up in the center real quick. Where'd the other two go?
They just walked. They're down there. Right there. Right there by those
Oh,
bushes.
I see it now. Alright guys, well, let's go meet up this way since they're already up there. Okay, good. It's alright. We're gonna get you stirred.
Yeah.
What's that?
This is what your 9 hits if you scrap.
Okay. Interesting. It's usually a dark spot. I try to get people out of there before it gets a little heavy. Alright, so I gave them fresh batteries so that their spirit box can now be heard by both of them. So hopefully we will catch some things in the next area with what's going on. Anything weird out of the lasers? Okay. Last night's 7 o'clock tour, I actually caught something on the camera from the green grid here. You guys definitely got a gist of how your camera and thermometers work. You guys ready to go learn some real history now? Alright, let's do this. Let's go this way.
We're on 69.2.
Beauty of ghost hunting. So let's keep the spirit boxes down until I kind of give you guys the gist of what happens here. So this is one of my most active spots. This is the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. Your other ghost tours won't come here because there's nothing to look at. It's just a parking lot. So the mansion would have been set up in the front. Eliza's garden would have been lined up with that first tree all the way down to the exit. And then where I'm standing back here would have been where the servant and slave homes would have been. So Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew, signers of our Constitution. Pretty big deal for Charleston. So, I don't care about politics, especially this year. So I'm going to move on to Eliza. Eliza got married very young to Charles to stay here in the United States. Her father was sick. He wanted all his kids home. She didn't want to go. So, she got married, Dad got better, and then he started sending her gifts. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. You guys have been driving around town, you've probably seen the word indigo quite a few times. This is where it started as far as being profitable. Indigo has a very deep gullah culture here in Charleston, but Eliza's the one that made it profitable to basically save the colonies after our rice plantations went downhill. She was also the businesswoman that sold it overseas, which is what made it so profitable. It's a pretty big deal for us. So, again, it started right here. What the heck is indigo? It makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Half of us are wearing it right now. We still use it today. So it's a pretty big deal. A couple weird things happen in this lot. Just a few nights ago, I actually caught two shadow people going past that wall along the street. I had a reference of two living people in orange going up the road. 20 seconds later, two dead people come walking down the road. So if you guys want to see that video, I'll post it in your link so that way you guys can check it out. I am going to play a quick EVP. You guys remember the reverse spirit box that I showed you? So this was actually quite a few weeks ago I got this one, but I still show it off. Again, keep in mind, Eliza was from England, so I'm going to play it for all of you individually. Oh, let me turn the other one off so it doesn't come through. Sorry. Okay. Pretty crazy, huh? It's there. It's all there. Baked beans breakfast. So here's what happened. The red spirit box told me, I'll fix you. Baked beans breakfast, and then the digital word list gave me the word tea. That was all within 2.5 minutes of each other. I'll fix you baked beans breakfast and tea. That is a breakfast over in the UK. That is where Eliza is from. I got that in this lot. Pretty crazy. But again, I get all kinds of things out of you. So, a couple weird things about Eliza you guys should know before you dump into your spirit boxes. I'm not going to give you the answers to these questions, but they are suggestions of things that you can ask her, and you will direct her directly. As, hey Eliza, tell me this. You can ask anything about her death. How old she was, what she died from, where is she buried, all of those things. Anything you want to about her death. She's pretty open about it. She had 4 kids. I already told you one was named Charles. Ask her what her daughter's name was. There was only one daughter. Eliza was also the second wife named Eliza from Charles. Find out what her maiden name was, because that's what she goes by. Eliza blank Pinckney. So, the other wife also goes by the Eliza blank Pinckney, but that's a different maiden name. So, it'd be interesting to see what happens, because sometimes I'll get both. You can also ask what happened to the mansion. You can ask when they lived here. Any of those things. The only thing that I'll ask you to not jump into was an infant son that she had that didn't make it. So that usually cuts off all activity. Last night somebody asked about it because they were trying to see if I was right. Nothing happened the rest of the night on my tour. It's kind of like she cursed the whole damn thing. So, again, that's the only thing I'll ask you to stay away from. So, very, very interesting to see how things will turn up here. Again, keep in mind, if you're asking the question, it could go anywhere. I'm going to be asking questions I did not suggest to you to see if something's actually going to come through. So we'll kind of see how this goes. So spirit boxes, this is definitely a pretty open area. By all means, keep in mind that this is the only way in and out of this lot. Cars will move in and out and come and park. Just kind of don't become a ghost kind of thing. Nice slow sweeps on the video for us. And keep in mind your lasers can be sensitive to car alarms. So no lasers on cars, and keep your lasers within the walls. So like no higher than that wall. We don't want to disrupt any other businesses around us. Okay? You guys ready to go see what we can find? I'm going to see where you guys all go off to so I can stay in the opposite direction with my spirit box, because I'm going to be asking odd questions on mine. So, venture off. Have fun. Talk to Eliza. She's here with us. Where's the EMF? Who's got the EMF here? Oh, they have it.
$65. Is there a puddle of water there?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a puddle of water right there?
Where?
Right here in front of us.
Yeah, there's a concrete thing, but I don't see any
Oh, right
water.
there. What is
Right
that?
here?
Yeah.
I think it's like garbage. 61.7.
Same.
Huh?
It's the same as what I got. Smells good. $65.
62.
Somebody tell me what happened to the mansion here.
$70.
66.
$71. $70. Building's pretty hot.
Mm-hmm.
That building over there is pretty hot.
Oh.
$80.
Kathy is 68.5.
74. just trying to get my back stuff
Yeah.
hurting. 62 on that wall, 63.
Yeah, 62. 61.
I'm not seeing anything on this thing.
Is there one with us? There should be a little girl.
Alright, let me back up and see. Nothing. Nothing with you. Nothing with them either. See 65 on the wall.
Nobody has a spirit box over here, so I'll kind of jump in so you guys can listen. I've been asking Charles what month he was born in, because that happens often too, because he'll say October twice, because he was born in October and he died in October. So a lot of times when it comes up twice it makes sense, and a lot of times the answer might go over there. They haven't heard anything yet, they're hearing some weird things, but nothing that matches up. Let's move on to something simpler. Can you tell me what happened to the mansion? Or Charles, rewind by 5 seconds. Tell me what happened to the mansion. We need to know what happened to the mansion, Charles. Charles or Eliza, tell us what happened to the mansion where you used to live. Why is it not here? Not getting anything. I had the word house come up a few times earlier. Let's get everybody gathered up, kind of see if they heard anything. All right, ladies, you want to head over this way? We'll kind of gather up real quick. Come on, guys, let's see what you guys heard. We'll collaborate, because I'm not getting much out of here. Does everybody see that light that's starting to flicker on the back of that building over there? A lot of times, if it flickers, it goes in different intervals every night. So it's almost like my barometer of how much activity we're actually going to get out of this place, because it normally lines up with the EMF meter. So in its pulses, it'll be in the same pulses about, it's like a quick delay after it. So it hasn't been blinking, well, it's starting to now. But it's usually in a much quicker pulse than that. So they really didn't know what to expect walking into this tonight. So it was kind of this is normally my hot spot, and all kinds of things go on if I have a blinking light that's working. But it wasn't. So did you guys end up hearing anything on the way since I last met with you?
69 on the age.
69, close. 70 was the age. So did you guys hear anything on yours?
I can hear Daisy. I
Daisy.
don't know what, 3 times I heard Daisy.
So a lot of times I'll get words that deal with the garden. So soil, different types of plants, shovel. I got shovel earlier, but it was over there. So I didn't put that together.
Her daughter's name, and that's when I heard Daisy.
Huh?
It's not Daisy. So
We
the
asked
answer to
what-
the questions, I'm sorry.
We asked what the kids like to play with in the garden.
Oh, when was that?
Like
Right when we walked away.
Okay. 'Cause I think shovel showed up on my way in here. I know I've seen shovel on here on your list. Yeah, so that was at 9:35. That was 20 minutes ago. So we haven't been investigating on our own for 20 minutes. It's been about 10, maybe 12. But the answers to your questions, it was Eliza Lucas Pinckney, the one that planted the indigo, and Eliza Lamb Pinckney was the first wife. So Lamb and Lucas were the words we were looking for there. The age was 70 when she passed away. She died of breast cancer in Philadelphia while she was up there in business. It's also where she's buried. So she's not even buried here. Charles is buried here, but she is not. The daughter's name was Harriet. Sometimes it comes only through, I haven't heard it through a regular spirit box yet, only on my screen. So that usually comes through pretty prominent. I was asking Charles when his birthday was. The answer to that is October. And I usually ask that because he also died in October. So a lot of times it comes up twice to kind of verify that it's him. The mansion caught on fire in that corner, second story. So again, I'll have to listen to the spirit box audio and see what you guys captured on your video a little closer, since we didn't seem to actually capture anything in the moment. But again, that barometer was kind of low to begin with. So not to disappoint, but I can't control paranormal activity. It is what it is. We'll see what I capture in the morning. So we're gonna walk up about 4 blocks up East Bay Street. It's definitely Masco area, which everybody's already there anyway, aside from me. I look like a jerk right now. But we're gonna walk up there and we're gonna check out Lodge Alley. So spirit boxes, we definitely want to be listening. So we're listening for names on the spirit boxes. I'll tell you why once we get there and see if anything adds up to that sense. Definitely want to keep the video going. East Bay Street is definitely a no laser zone. Your EMF's going to go crazy because of the parking meters. It doesn't mean anything. You can almost ignore it. That's how much the parking meters lines are underneath our sidewalks. They're strong enough to make the EMF go off. So definitely want to, if you want to take pictures as much as you want to. Again, if we actually have any orbs or craziness going on in there, then I'll just cut the people out of it. So, you guys ready to take a hike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, just making sure y'all are still awake. Am I boring y'all to death?
No.
All right, come on. Emily has been my little girl. When I go home and start uploading her stuff, she's the one that wants to sit on my lap. She said, "Why are you I'm trash?" He's 40. British style. Oh, you're perfect. You're my picture. So you get here. Is this what you thought you were getting yourself into? Spirit boxes. Alright. Everybody? Alright, let's cut them spirit boxes. And, did you guys hear anything along the way? Nothing. Let's do it. You guys catch anything either? So the reason why I asked for names down here is because this used to be a street of Charleston where people used to live. So I have the full list of residents of all the people that ever lived here. It's not a very long list, and it's not like it's a whole lot, but I have the list. The names Benjamin and John usually show up when I'm here. I usually get that about 4 or 5 times a month. So that's about average, and they show up together. It makes sense because they both lived here in 1801, and they were 2 out of the 4 residents that were here. So again, Peninsula was much skinnier. Those buildings you guys see at the end of this alley this way weren't there. Low tide smell coming through, this probably wouldn't have been a very pleasant place to live. So without those buildings blocking it, it didn't hurt too much. We're big on these very uneven bricks. Y'all just call it trip over on the way here. And they found some of their silverware and their tools and some of their clothing. So I have the full archaeological dig PDF. So any words that show up that relate to that, I can verify what's actually happening. But names are usually the first thing. Either that or years. So very interesting places. Obviously these clay bricks were laid by slaves. They're all handmade. None of them are the same shape or size. And they are very bumpy, as you guys noticed. The Masons also used to meet down here. So before it was a resident area, the Masons used to come down here because it was kind of an open air. And it's always been this skinny. Again, these 2 buildings weren't here. The building behind me, this is Lodge Alley Inn. It's obviously named after this alley. They all claim to have ghosts. They don't give me free rooms to verify any of them. I'm not condoning any of their spirit activity. So until they start giving me free rooms, that'll be the gist of that. So we are gonna, I have caught a lot of orbs down here. That's why I asked for pictures. So pictures on, you're gonna be the last person out. So you get us 2 more pictures going the opposite way. When it's still empty, not many ghost tools come down here. That's what's so great about it. Those green orbs we'll capture are in random places. So again, when I actually get pictures that actually link to the evidence folder on Facebook. I have Facebook page for the cemetery, and that way you guys can actually see the comparison of where all the
67, just right on the floor.
Huh.
On the floor down there in the shadow.
It is a resident area once we exit here, so it's a definite no laser zone. So those will be the lasers once we leave here. We're going to cut across the street, but we're going to keep the spirit boxes out of the hospital as well, because people are winding down from their work day. Definitely want some video here. I have caught some weird shadows with that thermal imaging camera and verified with digital pictures at the same timestamps. So, very interesting place. Lots of activity here, and we'll capture it. So, again, it seems like we're having a hard time. Let's take the spirit boxes. Okay, kind of recording, we kind of verify stuff for you guys in the morning. Again, it's not the easiest thing to listen to. I'm sure you guys can code the test. It's not easy to go through that. I didn't get any names besides Natalie, but I don't think I have maybe one or two females on there on that list. I think they're both named Elizabeth. So we're gonna walk through here, kind of slow, check it out, take lots of pictures, listen to the spirit boxes. Then we're gonna go check out another house after this. So let's see if we capture them on this one. Yes, sir. You getting weird stuff?
Like about, you might want to review it at like 1 hour. It looked like there was like a slow mist that went by, like a hot mist, though, not like a.
Okay, interesting.
It was.
Was it at the end, or was it actually a little closer to you, you think?
It was right here, so right where the, right in the top part of that.
So I have, because that doorway, the AC, and on a summer night, you can see like the full oval of the AC coming out, and I think I've caught it twice now. Little tendrils will come up and spiral up out of it, and then kind of dissipate into and blend in with the heat. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see what you have there. It's not explainable, because that temperature should be staying on the ground, because heat rises, cold stays at the ground. And on a hot night when the AC is blowing, that cold should definitely stay down. We don't want to see tendrils walking up. Well, we do, but they don't.
All right.
So, but yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that. Drop my flashlight. So everybody can see, nobody's tripping. The bricks actually get worse. You're a pretty quiet group. Y'all are freaking me out a little bit. I know I talk a lot, but you're supposed to shut me up. Oh yeah, we definitely want to get those pictures going up. Take those. Oh, look at the pro bringing the SLR out. Making me look bad. Alright guys, let's head over this way. What'd you get? What did you hear? What did it say?
Sounded like Harry. I don't know. I heard Harry too.
Harry.
I thought it said Irving.
I thought it said Irving.
Irving?
I think it was just like the thing.
Alright, so you picture takers, that's a great one right there. That's why I bring it all the way over here. Did you hear anything else on that spirit box over there?
I heard Harry.
Barry?
Harry.
Harry. And what about you guys? Anything on Mama? Mama? Interesting. See if there's any families there. I've gotten all the children there before too, out of a spirit box. So that's
Scared me. I saw it on the screen.
What did you see on the
A
screen?
real person.
And then real living people.
So,
like
guys, I
talking
told
over
the story. Let's go and tell that story. So we're about to walk through Philadelphia Alley. I tell the story out here because this is a pretty popular ghost horror stop. This is their big finale here. Only we have the tools and evidence to prove what's actually going on down here. So the story goes, there was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. Okay, keep those initials in mind because it can pop up again on your spirit boxes. R.I. from Rhode Island. And comes up later in the story too. He was supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. Amanda had a bunch of money from her dead parents. The lawyer handling that money told Amanda, "You're not getting married yet, send the doctor away. I think he's just after your money." The doctor agrees and he comes to Charleston. Coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start. Somebody walking by named Ralph Isaacs, initials R.I., says, "You don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere else." Takes him somewhere safe, 59 Church Street, which is on the same street of the big steeple that you see there. So that's about a mile and a half. The two become friends, and the doctor's practice starts to take off. So he's making lots of money, and becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because Amanda's coming down soon. He's pretty happy about that. So you can Google the Whistling Doctor and get the very nitty-gritty details of the story. I'm giving you the gist for what we're listening for here. So they go see plays together, but they can't sit in the same area because the doctor makes a lot more money than Ralph. It's kind of going to see the movies with your friends, but they make more money than you, and you got worse seats than they do. So they had to talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night, and they're talking about the play, and the doctor loves the new actress, but Ralph does not. They start arguing about the actress, and then it turns into an insult party on the doctor's fiancée back home. They obviously get pretty ticked off at each other, and they go their separate ways. Now, Ralph is from here. He's got ties to the newspaper. So he puts an ad in the paper that the doctor is a big disgrace to the city. He's not from here, he makes too much money, he takes all of our money, so forth and so on. The doctor rebuttals with, "Let's go to Dueler's Alley and settle this." That's what this alley was before Philadelphia Alley. This is where the duels occurred in Charleston. So the two come down here. Well, first off, when you go to a duel, what's going to happen?
Someone's gonna get died.
Somebody's going to get dead, right? That's how we like to hear it. If you notice, there's an opening in the far wall. Okay, the loser would normally be picked up and taken through that doorway, through the courtyard, and over to the St. Philip Cemetery, pre-dug grave. They drop the body and go celebrate the winner. Right? It's kind of how things went. So here's what happened with the doctor. They come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn. The doctor puts his gun in the air and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to prove that the argument was stupid. Ralph, however, takes 2 shots below the knees on the doctor. The doctor drops. I got the word kneel on our way over here, by the way. The doctor drops, and he's not carried through the death gate, as I call it. He's carried home, a mile and a half, back to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. So what's the moral of the story? Don't get engaged to somebody named Amanda. No, I'm kidding. So they say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistling of the doctor. Okay? I have a lot of hecklers in town. They will give you fake whistles. Make sure my audio is close to me. They're going to give you it's going to be fake. Okay, so I just gave you a fake one. If you're listening, you want to crank this up. It's going to be very faint. Now, it's a windy night. I don't know how it's going to turn out on the audio, but it will be faint if it's going to be there. I only have 2 that I can't debunk as hecklers nearby. Okay, so again, a year and a half of giving tours to you guys, I only have 2. They also say you can hear gunshots during this, while you're walking this alley. It's normally really quiet back here, even on a busy Saturday afternoon, when it's not windy. Of course. So again, I've never heard the gunshots, and my 4th of July team, they were hysterical. They were begging me to try to debunk. I'm like, no, because there was fireworks going off everywhere. I'm like, I'm not going to even try. A little bit of nugget of history on this place. It was named Philadelphia Alley because we had to rename it after dueling became illegal, and we named it after a city that helped us after out of our many, many fires. Okay, so that's why it's Philadelphia Alley. Philadelphia sent us a lot of money. The bricks we're going to walk on, they're going to get older as we get towards the end. These up here were refreshed and renewed in the 1990s, okay, so pretty recent, 30 years ago. As we get to the end, we have sun-dried bricks from slave pits. We have their fingerprints and 1 full handprint at the end. I will point them out with my toe. If you want pictures of it, you need to be quick. Because somebody's home. They live right there. I don't want to be hanging out at somebody's house for a long period of time. Here's what I'll tell you about that handprint. If you think about it, the thumb, and you'll see it, overlays into the next brick, which means that kid put that brick in wet. and then slammed his hand into it, kind of a screw you, I don't want to do this anymore. So it's interesting to see. It shows how far we've come in Charleston, the racing is very great, and it's part of our history. It's all here. There's more handprints throughout Charleston. Except for kind of Google to find out that. I went to Great Hall of one of them, I can never remember the start. So, if you wanted to see the death gate and take pictures of it, because I know you guys brought extra cameras, I know you came equipped, by all means you can make a right, but I'm going to stay away from the spirit boxes and I'm going to go left. So that way you guys have a nice clear audio, and I leave my reverse spirit box down, so that way the audio is clear. So that way you guys have that. But again, nice slow sweeps from you. Lasers when we get to the resident areas are a no-go, but you can keep them low as we walk by. You guys are already masked up, so if we have to cut through another tour, obviously we want to cut the spirit boxes as well. So I'll mask up while we're in here just because it is so popular and it's on my wrist. Man, you guys are supposed to keep up with me. Like, Nick, get it together. So, man, you guys are quiet. I don't think I talk that much. Do I talk that much?
Taking it all in.
And you're great listeners. Hopefully you guys are retrieving all of this. So, but again, you're going to hear terms like Ralph and guns and rifles and all kinds of things. So we'll see what happens when we go through here. Oh, somebody opened the gate. I'm going to give you the creepy sound effect. Hang on. Nice. So the gate is just up there to the left, but again, I'm going to continue slowly. The photographers, if you want to get pictures once these people pass us going the opposite way, it makes for great pictures too. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful places in Charleston. So enjoy it. I'm going to walk slowly down this way.
You ever have people getting touched in that area?
Getting what?
Touched?
No. Why?
Because when we were about to leave, I was standing there and I thought somebody in my group walked up and brushed the back of my jacket.
So I had a girl. What's today?
Like they were going around me, and I looked over.
There's nobody there.
Nobody there.
I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I had a girl. She was carrying a side satchel purse, and she said her purse kept getting pushed right into her leg. And I think one of them was here, and then definitely over at the Red Barn lot. So I don't normally get people that say they've been touched, but that's weird that this happened within a week.
Yeah.
So maybe it's your beard.
I don't know.
And that's interesting. I appreciate you telling me. Because again, I don't look for, like, I don't put my feelings
Because the
into
wind
this.
happened just after, but it didn't feel like the wind.
Yeah, you would know a poke from the wind. I'm
It was
sure.
like just like a
little brush.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's good to know. And it says the word subtle. Oh, there's the word Neil. So we got that. What time is it now? So that was 15 minutes ago, right on the dot. So we would have been in. A lot of times I'll get a preemptive word going into the next location. So for example, I had the word blue going into the Pinckney Mansion site on my last tour. Would be talking about blue indigo. So that made sense. I also had the word Lucas. So that was Eliza's maiden name. So that was coming into the Pinckney Mansion site. So the word Neil coming in here, at least leaving the alley, makes sense. So, but did we lose the other half of the group? How far up are they going? Two other ones too. What they got?
They're at the gate.
Oh,
They're at
okay. They're opening it?
No, they're
Oh.
just standing there.
It should be locked. There's also right here, there's a spot in Philadelphia alley, like it's really wide, and if you can get the steeple, get back far enough, it's a great shot. Maybe it's over steeple. figure out why that's a Celtic crossbow. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful places in Jerusalem. This is what it sounds like in the mornings. So like if me and the wife are coming downtown for the day, we'll cut through here just to sip our coffee and let the dogs, you know, enjoy a little piece of quiet before we take them shopping or whatever. All right. Got everybody here. I thought I lost somebody. So I've had drunken groups that pass Max Bar and I turn around and most of the group is gone. I'm like, where did you both go? All through here, and then I'll point out the handprint. It's at the very end. So I'll just keep pointing them out with my toes so you guys can see where they're all at. There. Bunch here in the center. Good finger swipes right here. Well, they turn them every hour. So they had probably a couple hundred bricks. They had to keep turning, so then they would just start over. So the fingerprints are going to be in there. They should have been on the side, not on the top. Just got the word awful. Yes, it's an awful part right there. Sure? Yep. I leave it up to you guys. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. All right. Really?
And then when I was walking out the end, dead.
Nice. I'll take it.
I don't know what that is.
Not that being dead is nice, but I'll take Isaac and dead. So I'm sure Isaac is dead right now. Neither of you guys have that do it. So it's awesome stuff. Are you happy with both of them? I'll be different. This building over here, the big brick building, this used to be part of the cotton industry. It used to be a cotton warehouse. The last guy who had it as a cotton warehouse, his name was George Poirier. And George inherited the business from his dad. Silver spoon kid, no clue what he was doing, got himself into a bunch of debt and lost his inheritance really, really fast. So, here's what happened. He needed to get out of the business. We had the boll weevil in town as well. It was eating his crops. Eating his crops. Not for the American government, but sell it off to the British. He doesn't want to eat the boll weevil. So again, there's so much in here. You can watch that shit roll up. It's watching from the second story window. Your online stories usually say third story. My data says second every single time. So, ship rolls up. They unload it from back here. These really cool garage doors that you see by horse and buggy. Once the ship is loaded up, somebody gets too close to all that cotton with a pipe. The ship catches fire and everybody dies. George watches the whole thing. He's already depressed from his dad being dead. He doesn't have enough money to pay off his American debts, and now his father's legacy is gone. He piles up all the furniture, captain's chair on top, swings a noose, and he hangs himself as the ship is burning. There's a newspaper kid that caught him the next morning, trying to come down here and sell his papes. Had to go back to the press to tell him what was going on. I get another ghost that tags along when I'm looking into this building. 2 blocks away from where we came out of Philadelphia Alley is a restaurant called Coogan's Porch. It used to be the home of Zoe St. Amand and her sister Elizabeth. Zoe died in the house by falling down the stairs. Zoe was a school teacher. How do I know it's Zoe? She spells her name Z-O-E. I get it at least once, maybe twice a month on my spirit box, and we'll get words on the spirit boxes on yours, the audible ones, that say words like food, eat, table, fork. Very simple things to tell what her house looks like now. It's a restaurant. So with George, we're listening for cotton, ship, and fire, dad, and debt. With you guys, it's going to be those other words. So we're going to see what pops up out of this place. It's condos in the back now. They're turning the front into a wedding reception area. 4 floors, or 3 floors plus a rooftop. It'll be considered waterfront. Those weddings are cursed from the beginning with all the ghost stories that happen here, so good luck to them. But yeah, this has been an interesting building. It's changed hands many times. It's been a brewery with crazy taps turning on and off, cold breezes coming through where the AC's not on. Like, nobody stays there ever. But no recordings of any ghost activity in the back. I've had people on the floor that know people that live in the condos, and they don't report any kind of weird activity at all. It's always in the front. So that's where George comes from. It also makes sense that Zoe and George come through at this building because it's the same time period. We're talking ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to walk legally twice and walk alongside of the building. We're going to get a nice video along the front. Keep in mind, our thermal imaging cameras now see the windows. We're not going to be able to see George hanging in there. We're going to take a full shot of the windows going forward. I know lasers are restricted, but they're good to have in parking lots. Sorry guys, I got a little carried away. I was hearing stuff. Basically that window and then these two going in. So on video and camera, that's really what we're looking for. I don't care how dark they are. I can lighten them up to see what comes up. Boy, that's interesting. Anything heard on the spirits? Boxes? What about you guys back there? This is stuff I can verify. So your EMF is actually no good up here because you have all the crosswalks and the lines underneath the center. Where's the lasers at? Let's get those lasers while they're getting some video from us. I'll let them hold the spirit boxes run. Oh, I don't. I'm going to take them. We're on a major street.
Oh, okay.
It's take away the.
Take away the laser.
Yeah. I try to. I'm gonna try something. A lot of times I'll get see the two stones at the top, like the one that goes over the edge, and then it's like a half moon. The breeze, I didn't do it with my last one because it was way too breezy. A lot of times I'll get like a 30-degree difference if there's any kind of activity. So she's already heard George. She's gonna see how far I can get. So that reading, this is 23 degrees.
Mine says 57.
22 and a half at the very top. That one says 38.
Mine
So
says
it's only 16 degrees difference. So it makes sense. Why is it so cold? Are you at the very top?
like if I go to the sky, it's negative. If I go right there on that,
Yeah, right there at the very edge where the stone is. There's a lot of activity going on with spirit boxes. There's a pretty big temperature difference between the two of them. I would expect like 7 to 12 degree difference between them. Breezy night, maybe 15 to 18. But the warmer nights, I've gotten it to where it's 30 degrees difference. It blows my mind. It's the same type of stone.
yeah, right there on that edge is much colder.
You got lots of pictures on that second story?
Yeah,
Okay.
around there and there.
Take that from you then. Kind of get things
sorry.
wrapped up. Oh, you're good. Thank you for keeping it safe.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is literally this is the one piece of equipment I don't worry about because it's shockproof
Ah.
and waterproof. So even when it's raining, like you could dunk this thing in water and take pictures underwater. It's one of the reasons why I got it.
It's habit. I always wrap my cameras around.
Yeah, it's a good habit to have. All right. So we'll get your spirit box from you. So you guys are much
Did
better
you get something
all wrapped
No.
colder?
Where does
Yeah, I think
everybody
it's just
need
too
to
far.
be? You guys need to be back where we started? Is that where y'all are parked?
No, we're like right here.
Oh, perfect. All right, so you guys are good. What about you guys?
We're parked over near the,
Where we started? Okay,
near
so you-
Market Street.
Okay.
I think we're gonna get tacos and have somebody pick us up here.
Sounds good. Well, I'm going to wrap up the rest of this. I'm going to text you guys in the morning with the data that I find. And hopefully you guys learned a thing or two about Charleston and a little bit of ghost hunting. I feel bad because you guys are finally getting the gist of how to listen for things. So that's why I'm letting it run a little bit longer. Just one video.
Yep.
You're the man. You're not the jerk. Good job.